Massachusetts. Sincerely, Charles Baker. Okay. Witness list. Why don't we start by having you introduce the folks you got here?
That's fine. If I could just stand. That's my friend Bill White, who I've been friends with and colleagues for over 30 years. Dave Meyer, who's one of my speakers.
My daughter's boss, so very nice.
Yeah. Dean Mazzone, my friend who's with the Attorney General's office. My brother-in-law, Brian O'Connell. My wonderful mother-in-law, Mary O'Connell.
Congratulations, Mr.
My friend Diane Canavan, who works with me from time to time, Maureen Canavan, who also has been my dear friend for years. My son Matthew is the guy over in the blue. Moya Gibson, who has been a godsend to me over the last 8 years, and is my partner in practice. Judge Fabricant, Chief Justice of the Superior Court. My friend Francis King, who's been one of my best friends for 35 years. We went to law school together. Doug Hanson, who saved my life today and picked up my car as I was running late and parked it for me. He's a private investigator, works for the Committee for Public Counsel. My friend Craig Mulcahy, who worked with me for years and is just the nicest guy in the world. My nieces, Katie, Selma, my brother, Leo, my sister-in-law, Sue, who was so nice to my mother when my mother was sick. My niece, Lauren, that's my brother's family over in the corner. We have my friend Steve Cronin, who works up at the SJC, my friend from Dorchester, and he has 2 wonderful interns who have come over to watch the proceedings. My dear friend Nancy King, who's a court reporter in Suffolk Superior Court. My friend Margaret Sannel, who worked with me in Suffolk and now works down in Norfolk and is a wonderful, good friend to me. My former mother-in-law, Doris McCann, who is my children's grandmother. She has come here. My lovely wife, Maureen, who I owe the world to and who has been just so wonderful and I love so much. My daughter, Mara, who came up from Washington, D.C. She just graduated from Georgetown a year ago and works for Dewey Square Group. My longtime mentor and good friend, Judge Sidney Hanlon from the Appeals Court, who I'm very honored to have her here. Judge Rosalind Miller, who's going to be one of my speakers, someone who I worked with in the DA's office and who I admire so much. Tried cases in front of her in the district court. She's going to be one of the speakers. My good friend Joe McDonald, who was the sergeant detective with the Boston Police Department for many years on the homicide unit, and now is a private investigator and who I work with as well. My friend Richie Linehan, who's also been a good friend to me for 30 years and is going to be one of the speakers. He's the chief court officer in Suffolk Superior Court. And my friend Paul DiCollegiero, who's a court officer in Suffolk and has done probably 20 cases with me, 20 trials, and is my IT consultant when I'm on trial. As everybody in the room knows, I'm not very good with computers. And I usually look over to the right, and Paul will come over and make sure that the things work.
You used up all your time. So
It's nice to see you.
we're going to start with the witnesses that you've put on your witness list. Of course, we start with the Honorable Rosalind Miller. I've had the opportunity to appear in front of them. So Council Doolin has multiple times.
Would you like me to sit or stand?
Whatever you like. Whatever.
Well, I'd rather sit. Thank you very much. So, good morning, councilors. Good to see you. Oh, don't bake me, counselor. Don't bake me. Good morning. I think most of you all know me. I'm Rosalind Miller. I probably start by saying this is an absolutely terrific appointment. Now, I don't know where to start with Michael, and I know we only have 2 to 3 minutes, and Councilor Kennedy gave me that pep talk before we started the proceedings. And in fact, we could be here all day long. If I started telling you war stories about Attorney Doolin's legal career, I won't do. A little context. I've been a judge for 23 years. I currently serve as an associate justice in the Superior Court. Been there 5 years. Previously, I sat in the district court in the BMC for 18 years. I've known Michael for over 30 years. We worked together in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. We had cases together after he began his defense career. He appeared in front of me in the district courts and in Worcester Court in particular on more occasions than I can actually count. He's appeared in front of me in the Superior Court, most recently on a homicide case. Michael Doolin is the real his humility and his, I'm just a guy from Dorchester attitude. He is very smart and knowledgeable. He is always thinking and always extraordinarily well prepared. Sometimes I will look up and look at Mike, and I can actually see the wheels going around in his head. He is incredibly hardworking. Mike's trial experience simply cannot be overestimated. He has tried a staggering number of difficult, serious criminal cases, each one with the same effort and attention to detail. Three things about that. One, that work ethic will endure if he's appointed to the bench. Two, he has walked the walk. He understands the challenges facing litigants, staff, and attorneys practicing in our courts. And three, he would bring all of that experience to the Superior Court. Michael has the right temperament for the bench. He's humble, thoughtful, and has an uncanny way with people. It's not just that he treats everybody with respect and dignity, which he does, but you get the sense that he, in some way, finds a way to understand and identify with everyone. I have seen this over and over and over again. I think much of that has to do with his ability to really listen carefully to others and to consider what others have to say. I would suggest to you a must for a good judge. One last thing. Michael Doolin is a good man. He has backbone, that is courage, and he has profound respect for the law. He will always make what he believes is the right decision, even when the right decision is not an easy decision. I am absolutely confident that Mike will be an excellent Superior Court judge should he have the good fortune to serve. I recommend him to you enthusiastically without reservation, and I will look forward to his first day on the Superior Court bench.
Thank you, Judge. Any questions? Thank you very much. I know you're paneling a jury, so.
I am, indeed, I am. Thank you.
Most importantly to the person in the room, much more important to the judges who are practicing lawyers, the Chief Court Officer Bishop Minnihan.
Thank you. Counsel. Oops. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I've known Michael since even before I was on the job. Great guy. Michael is an outstanding attorney who does his job at the highest level with the utmost respect for all parties that he comes into our courthouse. I've watched Michael for 25 years at Suffolk Superior Court. He has a special way of interacting with people from all different lifestyles. He treats everyone the same with great care and truthfulness. He's always cool, calm, and collected. Besides being Chief Court Officer, I work at the second job over at the garden. I see Michael on his other side job as a father, a great father. I've witnessed him at many events, Disney on Ice, circuses, wrestling matches. He does his fatherly duties to the fullest, which is an easy task with two special needs adults. Bottom line, Mike is a great attorney, a better person, and will make a great, excellent Superior Court Justice.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
And finally, we have David Meyer of Taunton Well.
Good morning. Thank you, Councilor Kennedy, Councilor Jubenville, Chief Justice Abercamp, Justice Hamlin, Justice Miller, for allowing me to be here. And most importantly, thank you, Michael. And as some of you know, I know Councilor Kennedy, Councilor Jubenville, know my background and probably recognize me from a number of appearances before them and others of the council. But I think each and every time it's been for a candidate or an appointment who's a former prosecutor. And that's because for many years I was a prosecutor first in Middlesex County and then in Suffolk County. This is an honor and a privilege for me as a former prosecutor for over 20 years and now a defense attorney to be here in support of a fabulous criminal defense attorney. And as Justice Miller just described, a wonderful human being. I say that because I've known Michael for over 25 years personally. and professional. When I came from the Middlesex DA's office after working for Scott Marshbarger and Tom Riley, and had a great opportunity to work for Ralph Martin and the economy, I spoke to a number of people about Suffolk County. I spoke to Councilor Kennedy. I spoke to many others, judges, prosecutors, police officers, defense attorneys, court officers, clerks, just to get the lay of the land. And the one thing that I heard from each and every one of those people is you can trust Michael Doolin. Not only is he one of the most talented criminal defense attorneys that you're going to be up against when you personally try or when you supervise homicide cases in Suffolk County, but you're not going to have to deal with all of the issues that you may have dealt with over in Middlesex County. We're not going to have to deal with some of the issues that are going on in courtrooms around the Commonwealth because Michael Doolin plays it straight. He's honest, he's professional, he's responsible, and you can take him at his word. And I can tell you that as a prosecutor, that is probably the most important thing that anybody can say about a prosecutor or a criminal defense attorney. I had the opportunity in one of the first cases that I tried here in Suffolk County to be up against Michael Doolin in a very tough, challenging case. It was a defendant's verdict. Michael, as Justice Miller described, prepared the case, tried a tremendous case. He was everything that everyone had told me in the court. But above and beyond that, Michael was a gentleman. He was honorable. There were no disputes in the courtroom. There were no disputes in sidebar. He tried a fair, honest case. The jury deliberated, and they found Michael's client not guilty. But what was amazing about that case was when the case concluded, the victim's family and the defendant's family, despite the verdict, embraced in the courtroom. And in large part, I think that was because of the way the case was tried. It was a fair trial. There was no bickering. There was no acrimony. It was professional from the defense attorney, hopefully from the prosecutor, and it was a fair trial. And the defendant's family saw that, and as importantly, the victim's family saw that. Years later, when I left the Suffolk DA's office and became a criminal defense attorney, I heard the same things about Michael Doolin. He's fair, he's honest, he's responsible, he's professional. He's someone as a colleague, as a criminal defense attorney, and I know Councilor Doolin and Councilor Kennedy can relate to that. He's someone that you can share information with, he's someone you can go to with issues, and you know that he's going to keep it in confidence, and you know that he's going to give you tremendous advice. In addition to seeing Michael Doolin as a prosecutor and as a criminal defense attorney, perhaps most importantly, I've had the opportunity as an adjunct professor at Boston University School of Law to see Michael when he comes to my classroom once a year, when he stands in front of 25 third-year law students, when he brings his honor to that class, to see the kind of admiration and respect that those third-year law students give him. When he stands before them for about an hour and a half, as he does in the courtroom in front of the jury, and he tells them not only about the cases he's tried and some of the challenges that he's had along the way, but perhaps most importantly about how he goes about his work ethic, his principles, his values, how he relates to the young men and women, many of whom are underprivileged, who he represents. And I can tell you, I can assure you that each and every one of those third-year law students at the end of the year tells me, you know, Mr. Meyer, next year, make sure that that lawyer, Michael Doolin, comes back and speaks to your class next year. Because above all, he had the most impact on me as a third-year law student. So I hope when Michael is sitting on the bench, I can lure him, you know, for an hour and a half in the years ahead to come to my classroom, not just as a defense attorney, but as Justice Doolin. I think, by all accounts, Michael Doolin has tried some of the most challenging criminal cases in Massachusetts, and that so many of them have resulted in defense jury verdicts as a result not only of hard work, of an incredibly talented trial attorney, but far more importantly in my mind, and I think in the minds of everyone in this room, of a fair and honest lawyer whose skills and integrity are admired and respected, not only by prosecutors and the defense bar, but as you heard, perhaps most importantly, by the trial court. I know I speak for everyone who's tried a case with Michael Doolin, and for those of us that have tried a case on the opposite side of the D as Michael. His education and his professional legal career have afforded him a foundation upon which to be a knowledgeable, well-reasoned, and conscientious member of the Chief Justice of Applicant Court. Personally, I'm all the more confident that Michael's integrity, his judgment, his common sense, and his character will do the trial court proud. As I said, I'm honored to be here this morning as a former prosecutor to support Michael's nomination and appointment to the Superior Court. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I want to introduce Counsel Manning.
Nice to see you again.
Any questions? No. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Okay, that closes the witnesses in favor of the nominee. Is there anybody here in opposition? It was a very long night of security. Somebody check. All right, Mike, the show's yours.
Okay. So I'm very, very honored to be here. I'm honored to be before the Governor's Council. I'm honored that I have been recommended and nominated by the Governor for this position. I grew up in Dorchester, as Judge Miller alluded to, and my brother and I grew up with two wonderful parents. My father was a post office worker who served in the Army at the end of World War II, although he never went overseas. My mother was a secretary for the Boston Teachers Union and lived in the same house for her entire life. She was born there and she died there. And we were very lucky to have them as our parents. The MBTA ran right through our backyard. And we grew up at a time in the 60s and 70s that was very rich. Our family, our mother, our father taught us compassion and empathy, decency, common sense, and probably most important, respect for everyone. These were traits that I hope I've carried over in my time as a lawyer, and traits that if I were to be lucky enough to be confirmed by this body and get the job as a Superior Court judge, that I would carry over, I hope, to that position as well. I've been blessed with a wonderful family. Maureen, who is my wife, has just been such a wonderful partner. She's a wonderful, successful, beautiful woman, and she's a fabulous mother. I'm very blessed to have 6 fabulous children, 2 of whom are here. My son Matthew, who goes to UMass and is finishing up there, and my daughter Mara, who I introduced you to earlier. It's a very blended family structure. As you know, I have 2 special needs boys, Brian and Patrick, who raising them has taught me patience, humility, and understanding of the frailties of human nature. I've also been blessed to have a wonderful relationship with Zach and Jake, who are Marine School boys, and I consider them to be mine. It's been wonderful to watch that relationship redevelop after several years apart. I want to thank the Governor, the Lieutenant Governor, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, all the members of the JNC, members of this council who have been so nice to reach out to me and met with me and have talked to in phone calls, to Ron Povich and Ms. Casey, who were in place when I first interviewed, and also Attorney Ross and Lauren Green, who's been such a good friend to me over the years. I became a lawyer on January 6th of 1986, and Judge Jack Hanneman, who just walked in, he and I walked up the stairs of the courthouse on our first day, and I met with Newman Flanagan and became prosecutors. Over the course of the next several years, I wanted to be a trial attorney and made lasting friendships, and I know that my friend Bill White and Francis King, who we were also rookie prosecutors with, are here, and I'm honored that they're here with me. We had so many good memories, and we learned to be trial attorneys, but we also learned to be better people as we developed as attorneys in the legal system. When I was a young lawyer, 26 years old, 27 years old, I used to go up to the Superior Court and watch some of the great trial attorneys. I watched William Holmes and Joe Valero. I watched cases tried in front of John Irwin and Robert Banks, and James McDaniel, and all the trial attorneys and trial judges back in the 80s and 90s, and I've been very blessed to have had that experience. I said this at the JNC, and I'd say it here, I love the Superior Court. I love everything that happens there. I love walking through the door of the Superior Court. The greeting Tony, who's the maintenance guy in the courthouse, greeting the officers at the front desk, coming up into the session, seeing Richie or Paul DiCollegiero, talking to the court reporters, to Nancy King or her friend Nancy McCann, clerks, the probation officers, and working with the district attorney's office on the other side of the cases. It's been my pleasure and my joy to try hundreds of cases in the Superior Court. And I've always said that I've never had a bad day as a lawyer. I've had bad outcomes, I've had things that didn't go my way, but that's taught me lessons as well. The ones that have gone my way have taught me to be a gracious winner, and the ones that have not gone my way have taught me to treat the system with respect. Respect the fact that we have jurors who come in who give their time, and witnesses who come into court under sometimes difficult circumstances, judges who try their best to achieve justice in the court system, and all of the other people who work in the system, the probation officers, the court reports, the clerks, the court officers, and everything. I think I can bring that experience as a trial lawyer and also as a man to the Superior Court. I think I can be fair, courteous, decent, and respectful to everyone. I'm very proud to be here. I'm proud to have this opportunity, and I'm very thankful, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council Doolin.
Thank you. Well, I don't think. Ever heard of any secret courts? They haven't either. I see an article in the Boston Globe written in a way that I never see in the newspaper. Usually it's like that on the flat. This particular article, black. Make it appear ominous. Court system is involved in some sort of secret. Courts, which I took great offense to, because those kind of allegations so whoever wrote those articles said there were 62,000 court hearings 2 years previous to that. There were 8 people that complained that they did not get a fair share. So 8 out of 62,000 seems to be pretty bad damage. We've been in many court hearings over the years in courts. It's always been a prosecutor, police officer, or assistant defense lawyer, client. When the Commonwealth got ruled against it, they did a right to appeal. I suggest that instead of picking out 8 people who said they weren't treated fairly, you were going to run an article and you were going to be a fair journalist. Could have put in probably 10 or 20,000 cases where a clerk gave some young person. That person today is a policeman or a fireman. In one case, I personally know is now left the United States Air Force Academy. Did not issue a complaint. So, to me, most of the things they do before a clerk are not what we call real serious matters. Real serious matters don't get clerks. So, bring that up to show not only the unfairness of the article, but how our courts are being attacked, not only by the press, by the federal government, certain that was included in the letter draft of the U.S. Constitution as well. To ensure the independence of the judiciary in Massachusetts, free of influence by politics, passion, or other branches of government. Massachusetts judicial system is parallel to, subordinate, and not dependent on the federal system. Massachusetts court system faces a crisis form of escalating efforts to disrupt and interfere with its proceedings by federal officials implementing immigration policies advanced by the current administration. Think about it. Never before in the history of our government has this happened to immigration people. They've been around for a long time. Never have they come to our courts. It would be unthinkable for state law enforcement authorities to enter a federal courthouse to arrest a defendant or witness, irrespective of the status of the federal case. Yet, in the recent past, we have seen federal improvements in the administration of justice in Massachusetts courts. It is the duty of state judges to resist outside efforts to influence and intimidate trial court judges and employees, and to interfere with state court judicial proceedings. I'm not reading the whole thing, I'm reading part. Escalation of undue pressure by federal officials is clear in light of recent federal indictment of the sitting judge and court officer arising from the conduct of the court's official duties. Whether the judge's conduct is appropriate, federal indictment is a draconian response. The draconian response has broader implications for sitting judges in a matter of constitutional significance, intimidation, and the judicial independence tactics recently employed have a significant chilling effect on judges and court personnel. More to the letter signed by 78 former judges. So this is what you're getting yourself into. Good thing about you is I know you're never sure. Or be intimidated by anybody sitting in court.
Which is too bad because he thinks they don't.
In the federal government, there is no question that something should affect guys, even ones that don't realize it. So, we've been waiting for you for quite a while. I know, Kennedy, myself, we can't wait for you to be sitting in our one last thing I'll say about the Superior Court. Is that my phone? Yeah. For many years, we had court reporters in those rooms. Back since 1859, some of you know, so sometime in the past few years, now it's more than a few, I guess, decided on by officials of our court, move away with those people. Work so hard in the hardest job in those courtrooms. We put all as lawyers, cases kind of tune out, didn't affect us, but they had to be constant. Was it word said or name given that they couldn't understand? Cases decided. They can't do that with a machine. How many times have you heard a judge say to a witness, please speak up? Right. Did that in courts in Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, it is a law that any serious felony case
apologize, it took me 2 hours to get here, the traffic.
It was awful.
I've never seen
It was
anything like
awful.
this.
It took us an hour and 40 minutes from Stone.
Yeah, it was
My
crazy.
friend Doug had to get my car from me when we pulled up here, and he parked.
First time getting off the island was easy, but getting here was hard. So,
Council DeVan.
Thank you. No, I agree with the traffic. I was ready to get up and run. It was such a pleasure to meet with you. I think it was over 4 hours that we met, and it was really very important to me to meet with everyone in 20 years I have, because I'm just not voting with someone on paper. I want to know the person, voting for the whole person, and I really got to know you on every level with your family and everything. I feel like I know so much about you. First of all, I asked all the nominees the process of how you got here, how you applied, when you got your interview with the JNC. And can you tell us?
Sure. I applied for the Superior Court in May of 2018. I had my JNC interview in July. I went to due diligence in September, and I was given the thumbs up on due diligence in December.
Can you explain that due diligence to people?
Sure. So due diligence is conducted by the Judicial Nominating Committee. They assign one of the members of the committee to call former opponents on cases, to call judges, to call other people that might have relevant information to the character and good standing of the person who was.
So, this was all in 2018, and so when did you meet with the couple? You met with Sharon Casey?
I did. I met with Sharon Casey and Lon Povich right before Christmas of 18. And then I met with Lauren Green and Mr. Ross in April, end of April, I believe. And then with the governor and then the lieutenant governor in the week that followed.
So that's the average of process of the year. We just had someone that the governor's legal competition went through in 13 days, I think it was. But, no, that is the process. Tell me, how many, there's 21, members that are, attorneys that are appointed by the governor to the Judicial Nominating Commission, JNC. How many were there at your hearing?
I believe that there were 12.
12 out of 21.
I believe so. There was, I think that my memory is that they, because of the volume of applicants that they
Yeah,
had.
that's what he does.
Yeah.
I'm opposed to it, but that's the way they do it. In the past, we had 21 people that were there because
Yeah.
that's an awesome responsibility. They have a greater responsibility than me. People don't know. They think we have all these names and we choose this person, and it's not. It's the Judicial Nominating Commission who meets with the nominee, and they vote to recommend, and it goes to the legal counsel and so on. And so, just as an example, those 9 people that voted, and no reflection on you, because this is the norm. You're lucky you got 12, some get 6. So what happens is you get 18 people or 9 people, whatever, that vote for a nominee, never saw them, never heard of them, never called them, never met with them. And to me, it's an awesome responsibility to get someone in a like position and never know who it is. So I say that publicly because it goes nowhere, but I feel better that I think. But first of all, talk about your cases. I was very, very impressed with me. And I'm going to tell you, I do have a very opinionated, I do have prejudice. I like people in private practice. I really do. I think it's wonderful to have experience as an attorney, attorney general. But to me, being a private practitioner, you choose who you're going to represent. And I would assume that when you're in the district attorney's office, whatever, you're given a report from the police, so you're halfway there. So I think, I think you're more sensitive being a judge from the private sector because you know that person's coming in, has to pay the rent, has to, has to shovel snow. If something breaks, they have to get it fixed. So you're more cautious of that. And the other thing I think of as a layperson, that the client coming in with a lawyer, you're more sensitive to that person because that person is paying a lot of money to have representation. And I think that I would hope, and I don't know, if you can arrange to have, when you see your docket, to have people who are in that position come first or whatever. Would you have any control of that? Because I know everybody comes at 9.
Right. This is what I've seen over the years. Oftentimes, if I walk into a courthouse and judges on the bench are just coming out on the bench, they'll look around, well, attorneys, and see who's here, who might have to go to another place, especially if you alert the clerk to say, hey, if you can, I have to be in some Superior Court at 9:30 in front of Judge Miller. Can you call my case earlier on so that maybe I can get down there and the court in Suffolk isn't upset? That type of thing. So I agree with this.
Yeah.
That's a, you have to do that.
In your opinion, what changes do you think could be made or should be made?
One of the
Or
things,
need to be made?
yeah, one of the things that has struck me over the last 5 years is how these specialty courts for veterans, people who have different problems with drugs, and how it's been implemented in the district. I think that there has to be a mechanism that gets set in place where if you have somebody who served in the military or who might have an opiate addiction, who's in the Superior Court on the right type of a case, that you can have that person go into the Veterans Court or into the drug court to address the addiction. And I think that there was a case that I had recently within the last year that was wonderfully done by one of the Superior Court judges to assist the guy who had been in the Marine Corps who had PTSD, who had gone out and committed a crime. But we thought that the right place for him was the Veterans Court, and we had to go through a little bit more maneuvering to try to get the case so that it could be supervised in the district court. And I thought that that would be something that I'd like to see implemented more in the Superior Court, so that there'd be a direct link to those types of programs.
You can't even count the cases you have had. I know you've had hundreds. And I'm going to tell you how important that is to me, the Superior Court. Last year, this council voted for someone that you're going to be serving with 6 cases and 2 trials
Oh, well.
in 21 years in the Superior Court. That doesn't meet my standard, okay? So, I'm only one vote. And so, I stand by that. And, I take it very seriously, you know, and, I have to say, I don't have a poker face. I was very pleased that you were nominated, and thank you for doing it and what you got through.
That's great.
Because sometimes political people jump the line. You see that a lot. So, tell me, what is your opinion on mandatory minimum sentencing?
I don't like it. I think that there should be judicial discretion. I think that when you go in front of a judge, every case is unique, and that the judge should be able to have an entire range of sentencing options in front of him for when the person gets sentenced. So in a general sense, I don't think it's
You know, I think I experienced that as a governance counselor. We're not getting pardons, any pardons in this administration. We got 6 the last time. I keep lobbying for them, we don't get them. And we have draws full of people who have been approved by the parole board, going back to past governors, and it's too bad. But I just want to tell you, my experience with that is, we did have, I don't know, about 8 years ago maybe, we did have someone for, and, he was, no, I mean, Pat, and, he was about 57. And when he was 17 years old, you know, the school zone law.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, in those days, it was a 5-year sentence, it's a 2-year now. So he was on his way to school. Nice kid, never been in trouble, everybody liked him. And an older friend stopped him, 22-year-old, and said, would you do me a favor? There's 5 bags of marijuana, would you sell them for me for $25 each? He said, sure. Didn't know, innocent, you know, just sad. So he went into school, and he sold the paper. So when he tried to sell the second one, that student reported him. And so the principal went to the locker and found the others, and he went on to prison. He missed dates, he missed the prom, he missed sports, maybe he could have got a scholarship, maybe he could have gone to college.
Sure.
Maybe he could have gone to college. So, when he came out at 22, fortunately, with his burden, he got a job as a custodian in a private school. Now, that school was closed. Where you go, 57, even if it didn't have that, right, you know? So anyway, he's gone through a lot. He's had cancer, he lost a leg. He's married, he has family, he's a community, he's been involved in the community, he's a coach, he's done a lot of good things. So, you know, I think, so we did give him a patent. What do we do? All those years lost. Is he gonna get a job? What job can he get? And so, to me, I'm not a lawyer, but I just have it in my mind, because I look for empathy and compassion. Look at it. I won't vote for anyone if they don't have that. And, I just have to believe that that judge, whoever it was, that he appeared before, wanted to use his discretion. But couldn't. And maybe could have got community service, probation, something. You know, I mean, we just had a judge that let a drug dealer, noted drug dealer on probation. But this young fella, it ruined his whole life. So I think there has to be discretion allowed for judges. And, I don't know how that's changed through the years, but, he wasn't a drug dealer, he wasn't seeing out of school, you know, just a stupid mistake, one mistake, you know. So that's my involvement in it. Tell me, in your opinion, do you think the age of juvenile court should be increased?
I do. I think that it should go up at least a year. There's a point where it used to be if you were 17, you were considered an adult. Now it's 18. I think it should go up another year to 19. I think that there's been a lot of studies that show the development of the adolescent brain. And that,
Yeah, tell me the age now.
I think it's a little bit over 20,
They say 25.
25.
You know what I said? I chose Catholic children before I was 25, and I thought my brain was working. But, yeah, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
People sitting, and I object to it, I really do. And, we've had ways on this about the juvenile court. I think the juvenile court is overworked. I don't think they can take on anymore. And we've seen so many egregious crimes.